Hello everyone. So before we get started, if you are enjoying the videos and find them informative, why don't you go ahead and think about liking and subscribing? It really does help out, and I want to do this full time. I just want to help y'all learn how to make games. It's what I love to do. And then, once you do that, have a great day. Otherwise, you know what? I still want you to have a great day. So, with that out of the way, this shameless plug, let's get into the video. Alright, we got a few quick fixes. So, we gotta fix the item finding the blank slots, and then I figured out another issue was if you have a different hotbar selected and then you rearrange, it resets it back to 0 display wise, but not actually. So that one's over there highlighted. So we're going to fix both those things right now. So if we go into our player blueprint, we can go find our inventory component, right click, and we're going to edit that. So this is where we're adding stuff to our inventory. Right now it's adding blank spaces, so it's considering it an item just with no details in it. So we can add a function that will be find any blank, and this will take in our, no, actually it won't take in anything, it'll just output the blank found and then we'll have an index. So we're essentially going to do the same thing as when we're checking to see if we have space. Instead, we're checking to see if we have an item that equals blank. So we're going to do a for each with break. We'll break it open and see if the item ID is equal to blank. We'll hook this to the branch, and we're not going to add this here, but if it's true, then we will promote this to a local variable, say be found, but we'll disconnect that. We'll just set it to true right here, and then we'll take our array index, promote it to a local variable, and this will be our found index. Then we'll drag this all the way back and hook it to our break. And then after it's completed, we'll do a branch to see if we have found an empty slot. And if we have, then we'll set that found back to false. Set that we have found a blank, and then feed in our found index. If we have not, then we'll just leave this down here, like that. So just a quick cleanup. There we go. And now when we are adding our item on the found room, if it loops through and says, no, I didn't find anything that matches what you're trying to feed in, then we want to do a check to see if any of the items are blank. So on the false line, we'll grab our find any blank, and we'll add a branch after it. We'll feed in our condition. If it hasn't found any blank, then we want to add to whatever index it finds. It'll just add the new item. Now if we have found a blank, then we want to get our array, and we're going to set the array element of that index we'll copy this down here. Actually, I think we can just feed it up. So we'll just feed that up like that. Now we also want to do this when we're checking to see if we have any space. I believe, let me double check. Advanced. Yeah, we're still doing it over here. Alright. So if the inventory size is greater than or equal to our inventory size, we'll do our loop through, see if we find any space. And all we gotta do is we'll drag out our find any blank, plug it in like this, and say, yeah, we found a blank somewhere. So that should resolve that issue. Let's double check it. So I pick that up, I rearrange its position, I pick up the next item, and it went to the first slot. It didn't update down here. So we can fix that in our player blueprint. Just item. How did I fix that? Oh, we call that, okay. So over in our inventory component, on our add item, just like we did the item added to slot here, let's drag this down a little bit. And we will call our item added to slot. We can feed in the same item info here and take the index from the blank that we found. So now that should update our hotbar. Let me say that's here, and then yeah, so there's that. So now it'll find, it'll find the blank spot for it and update accordingly. Now we got one other issue, which is if I have, let's say I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, item 5 hotbar selected, and I do that, it resets it, but only visually, and it kind of glitches out a little bit. This is a simple fix. We will go over into our player HUD, and when we refresh the hotbar, we'll select this, and we're going to add an integer that's called index. We'll make it single. We're going to promote it to a variable, index selected. And every time we refresh, we'll feed in the index that got selected, but it will default itself at 0. The voice don't want to work today. So we can feed that index selected into our hotbar. So it'll always get the index selected when it refreshes, but it'll default at 0 and get the first one on startup. So in our player blueprint, when we're checking to see if the hotbar is the same, we just feed in the hotbar selected number. So let me select a different hotbar icon, pick up an item, and set that over here, and the same one is still highlighted. And we're getting the first slot. And it's all working the way we want it, so I can store this all in my backpack now. Close it out, go about my day, pick up new stuff once we get to that point. Get ready to do my farm work. Yeah. Alright, in the next one we're going to start expanding on our items so that we can actually get seeds and crops and all that kind of stuff ready, so that when we start using our items, we can actually tell it what we want them to be able to do. Can't really use items without them being there, so we'll get that set up in the next one, and I will see y'all there.